this is really the introduction of, in my opinion, the best Bruce. Not Nolan. I'm not going to go down that road. It's not Bruce Nolan from Eyewitness News. It's Bruce Campbell. No, fucking Bruce Wayne. This is the introduction to the best Bruce Wayne we have.
Bruce Nolan, Eyewitness.
Groovy.
What's going on, guys and gals, and welcome to Good Reel Hunting. We're here for the good reels, so you don't have to. It's your boy Brad. The Batman's right over there. We just wrapped up our What's Awesome About series with the Batman franchise. The Batman 2022 was just released this past week, and we did a spoiler review for that rather together. So check that out. It was awesome. It's come time now for us to rank the franchise as a whole, and I still have so many questions in my own mind about how I want to do this, but I'm excited nonetheless to come to you guys with this ranking. The Britman's right over there, Chris is right underneath us. We're excited to get started here today.
Yeah, absolutely. Like this one is like not as hard as I think. Like the Bradman's, like it's difficult for him, but for me, I've only really had a difficult spot at the 2 and 3 spot. But I'll get into more detail on that when we get into it. Chris, did you have any difficulties with your Batman ranking?
Yeah, man. I mean, I felt pretty confident about it. You know what, though? This recent one, the Batman, threw a wrench into everything. You know, it threw a wrench into where I thought that it was going to be placed. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that was interesting.
Hell yeah, man.
I'm excited to see how that turns out, right?
Yes, sir, and we're glad to have you here, Chris. And before we get into our ranking, if you want to catch up or what's awesome about videos for the Batman, right above my head right there, and I'll even do a double special. If you want to see our spoiler review for the Batman 2022, right above my head as well. So I say without further ado, let's get started. And I got 8 movies. Is that correct?
Yes. So what we're doing the live action standalone Batman movies. So we're not including the cartoon. We're not including like the animated
Mask of
movies.
Phantasm. Or
yes, we're not doing that. Or like the Justice League or the Batman v Superman. We felt that was kind of like, if we were to be ranking the Iron Man movies and we started putting in the Avengers movies, it just doesn't make sense. So we're just doing the standalone live action Batman movies here.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is how I feel like we're going to do this. Brad, I know you got the most time to think. So I want to go Chris, me, Brad. That's how we're just going to do that little clockwork. Is that all good with you all?
Yes.
All right. So
counterclockwise, okay?
Yeah, counterclockwise. I don't know freaking time, but I know it is time just to do this ranking video. So Chris, start us off. What is your number 8? The Ocho.
Number 8, the Ocho. You know what, man? At the very bottom for me, looking at all of these, is the number 1. I placed it with the number 1 villain. It's number 8, but it's the number 1 villain of all of Batman, which is Joel Schumacher. No one has really tried to kill Joel Schumacher. Kill Batman more than Joel Schumacher. So Batman and Robin, dude. It's easy for me. Batman and Robin, number 8. It's the lowest of the lowest of the low. So that's it.
Oh, yeah. So I'm not going to waste much time either. My number 8 is also Batman and Robin. As much as it's freaking just filled with puns, and I am a pun guy, and I love puns, but God, I don't want it in my Batman movie, though. Like, I just really don't. Like, that's just not the Batman that I'm into. I'm into more the dark and serious Batman, because that's what Batman is. And for them to turn it to a complete freaking comedy stand, even though Arnold Schwarzenegger had a good time with it, and I'm happy for him, but holy crap, it's just dreadful to watch. So number 8, Batman and Robin.
You know, also
That's
throw
crazy.
out real quick. I mean, Chris O'Donnell. I'm not going to say anything about him as an actor because I don't know that I've ever seen him in much else outside of the Batman movies. But he was fucking dreadful in these. I mean, there's no way of getting around it, dude. Honestly, he drug these movies down so far. And everybody. I mean, Arnie, he's trying to do the best with what he's got on the page, and I feel like everyone is kind of, even though it sucks, they're doing their best. And Chris O'Donnell is just like, he's as bad as the writing. You know what I mean? Like, I hate to say that, but I just wanted to throw that in there.
Turn over a new leaf.
Oh my God.
And he pulls off the fake lips. I mean, geez, whatever, dude. Batman and Robin, it sucks.
All right, I'm gonna go with this might be a little crazy. I'm gonna go with Batman Forever here. The reason being, okay, yeah, objectively speaking, it's a way better movie than Batman and Robin. But for me, if I had to pick one to watch, I'm going to go with Batman and Robin. It's so bad, it's good. To me, Batman Forever is just more boring. Like, there's just not a lot going on. I thought Nicole Kidman was completely pointless in this thing. I hate the villains; did not do anything for me. I appreciated the energy they brought to the roles, but like they're just silly. Like, I really don't care about them. Their plots
Tommy
are so
Lee
generic.
Jones, dude, come on.
Their plots are so generic, though. Like, everything about it. Val Kilmer is just lifeless in the role, I think. I just there's just nothing. There's nothing fun about this movie for me. The riddles are completely pointless. They're so easy. Like, I could have figured them out at 8 years old. Like, I did. Like, there's no questions to ask. It's not a big deal. It's a joke of a movie for me. It's boring. I'm moving on. It's my least favorite. If I had to pick one to watch,
Enigma.
He sucks. He sucks.
Edward
He sucks.
Nygma,
Like, I appreciate the energy, but it's just boring. There's just nothing exciting about this movie that brings me in.
Okay.
All right, Chris. Let's go on to number 7. I have a pretty good idea what it could potentially be.
Yeah, man. I mean, I feel like it's going to be maybe reversed for only one of us. So, Batman Forever. For every reason that Brad just said, just got a little bit of a reversal there for me. So yeah, Batman Forever.
Yeah, I'm just going to follow your tailgates right here. Number 7 for me is also Batman Forever. I actually enjoy Arnold Schwarzenegger and Poison Ivy, or Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy more than I do Tommy Lee Jones and the Riddler. However, we get a little bit more of a serious story. If they don't try to rely on puns, like they still rely on puns and jokes and all that, but not as much as Batman or Robin. So that's why I appreciate it just a hair bit more, but it's still not a strong Batman movie. So my number 7 is Batman Forever.
Hell yeah, man. I'm going to go with Batman and Robin here. No surprise. Again, like I said, I just find it more fun to watch than Batman Forever. I think this is the definition of so bad it's good. You can get through it and be entertained by what's going on the screen with all these puns. Arnold brings it as all. Like, he honestly brings it his all in this role. He gives so many freaking one-liners. You could get, if you had a drinking game set after it, you would have a really good time. And Poison Ivy, I actually thought Uma Thurman did a really good job in the role. I think she brought so much energy to it, and she was really good. I actually like her way more than Nicole Kidman was just a waste of a character. I thought Uma Thurman was way more enjoyable in this movie. And
I thought the guy who played Bane was pretty underrated. He was pretty good. I mean,
okay, Bane was a disaster. Oh, a lovely service that delivers. Cool. Yeah, but Arnold really pulls it over for me. I freaking love Arnold. He's A game right here, man.
All right, so Chris, let's move on to you at number 6.
Number 6, man, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it because I haven't had a rewatch of this in a little bit of time. So, number 6 for me is Batman Returns. I enjoy it, and I think that it's great. But when I put it up against the others, this is just kind of where it fell. You know what I mean? Like, it's not. Mm-hmm. It's not really an indictment of the movie as being horrible so much as it is just, I think, put up against everything else. It's just kind of where it lands for me. But I still love Michelle Pfeiffer. She holds up, dude. Would still bang. She's so hot.
Yeah.
Hell yeah,
and,
man.
Danny DeVito's take on the Penguin was a little over the top for me. Very much in the vein of Tim Burton. I think that he felt at home in that world, and it was easy to see him there. But all things considered, dude, it's Batman Returns for me.
Alrighty. So from here on out with my list, these are movies or Batman movies like I really enjoy and have a good time with. At the bare minimum, of like I really do have a good time with. So my number six, I'm going to follow along what Chris just said of Batman Returns. I think Tim Burton does an amazing job creating the world of Gotham, but in the more Christmas spirity way, but still dark. Tim Burton's just the man when it comes to these type of Batman films. He's perfect for them. He delivers great cinematography shots. Freaking the Keats does another good performance as the Batman. Michelle Pfeiffer, good job as Catwoman, and Danny DeVito, Penguin. I can live with it, but I'm just like, okay, we're getting too gimmicky with that. It's too comic booky. So, but I still have a really good time with it. So my number six is the Batman Returns.
Yes. I concur with both of you gentlemen here. Brett, man, like you said, I love all six of these next movies. I absolutely love them all. This is so hard to put Batman Returns this low on a list, but it is. I mean, reason being for me, the reason why it's so low is because it falls kind of like you said, too much into the comic book realm. You have penguins running around with not laser beams. Rockets on their
Freaking
head.
laser beams attached to their heads.
There's penguins running around with rockets strapped to their heads and like just too much over the top for me. But I absolutely love the atmosphere. It's a Christmas movie. We got the big ass Christmas trees, the atmosphere here with the snowy Gotham and everything like that. Michelle Pfeiffer is my favorite Catwoman. We'll see what Zoe Kravitz can do going forward. But for the way it stands right now, yeah, Michelle Pfeiffer is going to be my favorite Catwoman in the bunch. She did such a good job. Christopher Walken, everything about this movie is just freaking awesome, man. But for me, it's gonna be down this low. 6.
Alrighty, so Chris, let's go ahead and kick it off with number 5.
Number 5, man, this is a toughie. I think those first two were easy, and then it gets a little bit more difficult, and then from here on out, a lot of these choices are really hard for me. So I'm curious to see what everyone else has in store. But for me, number 5 is Batman Begins.
Ooh, okay.
I really enjoyed Batman Begins. It kicked off the whole Nolan trilogy, but it's just that it's a starting point, and it was lacking a little bit of something there for me. Still love the hell out of it. It doesn't say I don't enjoy it. Just kind of like I'm sure we're going to keep talking about. Just when we put it up against everything else, this is just kind of where it fell. So yeah, that's it. I don't have a whole lot else to say.
Alrighty. My number 5, I know I'm pretty much going to piss off a lot of the traditional Batman fans, like in the Batman franchise. My number 5 is Batman from 1989. I was late into the game on this one. However, I absolutely love the performances of Michael Keaton and, more importantly, Jack Nicholson's portrayal as the Joker. So damn entertaining. Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? Like, just he brings such a great energy to the movie. Like, everybody really does. I really almost don't have a complaint with character-wise. And Tim Burton is just a great choice of a director to bring the world of Gotham to life. However, it is it's just affected by the 80s, and I'm not too big thrill on it. Like, it's still a really damn good movie, but I think all the other Batman movies I'm about to get into on my ranking, I just think this movie just doesn't compare. So my number 5 is Batman 1989.
Yes. Same for me, Brett, man. I'm going to go Batman 89 as well. As much as it pains me to do it, I absolutely love this movie. It's 4.5 out of 5 stars for me. You have great performances from the leads here. Such a good freaking comic book world here that Tim Burton built. It feels so genuine and so like it just feels perfect for Gotham. And it's tough for me to put it this high in the list, but I just have to. I have to at this point.
Alrighty, man. So we are officially in the top 4. We've already knocked down the first half, and we just want to know your all's thoughts on what your Batman ranking is. Just let us know in that comment section down below. So let's freaking continue. Chris, what is your number 4?
Yeah, man. For all the reasons you guys just said, Batman of 80 or it's 89, right?
Yeah.
Is it 89?
It
It's
is.
89. Okay, yeah, that's it for me, man. It was really difficult, which I'm sure I have a feeling that we're all just going to be kind of reversed on Batman and Batman Begins on this one. I think that yeah, for all the reasons you guys said, it's great, it's outstanding, but Batman Begins was just a little bit lower for me, and I love the hell out of it still. So number 4 is Batman for me.
All right, guys. So my number 4, pretty much from here on out, like 4 through 1, I absolutely love these Batman movies. So my number 4 is going to be The Dark Knight Rises, and great ender, pretty much a satisfying conclusion to the Nolan trilogy. I absolutely love Bang of Tom Hardy's performance. I don't think there is a bad Tom Hardy performance ever. I think he knocks it out of the park with Bang. And then just seeing the story of Batman going from his lowest of lows, literally rising out of that hole, like that pit hole, and it just freaking freaking breaking through barriers, man. And just it's just so damn amazing. And plus, Anne Hathaway of Catwoman, that is to me the best Catwoman I've ever seen. I think she absolutely nails it. More for anything as Selena Kyle. Anne Hathaway just knocks it out of the park with her facial acting. So number 4 for me is The Dark Knight Rises.
Boys, I just still these next 4 movies, man. Holy fuck! I just cannot. They're all 5 out of 5. So let's go ahead and cut it to the chase. Like there's no franchise for me that has this many 5 stars in it, and this only has 8 movies in it. So half the movies in this franchise are perfect for me. Bond, I love Bond so much. There's 25 movies, but there's only 2 5 stars in the whole bunch, maybe 3. There's 3 5 stars in the whole bunch.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, dude! I don't know how to do this. I really don't know how to do this. All 4 of these movies have been they've seen every they since I've been trying to put this ranking together, they've seen every possibility you could imagine. Like they really have.
Trust your feelings.
But for the time being, I'm going to do just that, Brett, man. For the time being, for this moment, it could change in 5 minutes or 10 minutes. It's changed 6 times since we started this video.
6 times.
Yes, it literally has. For this very moment, I'm going to go The Dark Knight, which is fucking crazy. I know it's insane. It's wild. It's amazing. And objectively speaking, it's probably the best movie on this list. But for me, it's this low because I think the movies ahead of it are better Batman movies. This movie, The Dark Knight, is very much about Harvey Dent. It's very much about the Joker. They steal the show here. The next 3 movies here coming up are going to be better Batman movies, in my opinion. And again, this might be Nolan's best movie of all time here at the Dark Knight. If I were to do the top comic book, the top comic book ranking, this might be number 1. But for Batman movie, it's right here for me at this point.
Alrighty. So I'm hell yeah, man. You gotta go. Just go with your feelings, man. And that's a strong start to kick off our top 4. So Chris, what is your number?
It's good. I want to say up front that I appreciate that we don't all have the same list, because I was worried that it was going to be too similar. So it's great that we don't have the same list. So we're on number 3 now. Yes.
Yes, we are on number 3.
Number 3. So I did Batman. I actually did Begins, Batman. My number 3, I actually went with Dark Knight Rises on this one.
Okay.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I love it so much, man. Tom Hardy really, I feel like, didn't get enough credit for, he had to follow up Heath Ledger in that Nolan trilogy, and I get that. So that immediately completely undermined his performance in there. And the voice is fucking goofy. I get that. But his performance, man, I mean, basically he has to be super intimidating with just his eyes, basically, just and body movement, and he absolutely still nails it, man. So a lot of other great performances in there, but Tom Hardy fucking kills it. And like you said before, great conclusion to the Nolan trilogy, but it kind of falls a little bit behind some others here for me. So number 3, Dark Knight Rises.
Alrighty. My number 3, and like I said at the beginning of this video, 3 and 2 are that was the only hard thing that I had to choose between what's going to be number 2, what's going to be number 3. And like Brad says, it could change it could easily change like a minute from now because that's how close this race is. But like I told Brad, I'm gonna go with my feelings as well. So my number 3, the Batman from 2022. Absolutely love what Matt Reeves brings us, like in a whole nother world of Batman. I absolutely been begging for a detective Batman for so damn long. We finally get it, and Robert Pattinson does a phenomenal job as Batman. But as Bruce Wayne, I have my opinions on that. But I think all the side characters were great. Of Catwoman, Colin Farrell as the Penguin. Holy crap, his transformation! I think he does a really damn good job. Jeffrey Wright as Gordon was very underrated. I feel like it really is underrated. People are not talking about how great his performance is enough. But again, what is the MVP of this movie for me is freaking Paul Dano as the Riddler. So spine chilling. It's not freaking Jim Carrey going. Hoo-hee. We actually have like you are literally terrified of this Riddler, and you don't. And he's so damn smart, and he's outsmarting everybody. So my number 3 is the Batman 2022, and it can easily go to number 1 with our next Batman ranking we do in the future.
Seriously. These movies have been so literally like it's a Dark Knight. Ask me tomorrow, and it's my favorite. But right now, it's number 4. Number 3, for this time being, I'm going to have Batman Begins. I think this is a better Batman movie than Dark Knight, which is why it's above it. I really love the origin. To me, this is probably my favorite origin story of all time. Like this origin story, I think it is better than Iron Man. It's better than Spider-Man. You name it. This is my favorite origin story. I love bringing Ra's al Ghul in here. You get Liam Neeson in the role of that. And I think it's fantastic.
Ken Watanabe.
Yes,
Hey.
Ken Watanabe. I think that's awesome. I think he does such a good job. I love though this origin story though of the Playboy billionaire that just comes in to be Batman, and you get the technology that's introduced by Lucius Fox, the Batmobile, the new Batmobile, setting up this grounded world here of Gotham. It's brilliant, man. Christopher Nolan is a fucking genius behind the camera and behind the sheets and everything. You know. The sheets of paper, I mean, not the
under the sheets. My goodness, wow.
But yeah, I mean, again, up until this newest movie, I think this was the best Batman movie, as far as just focusing on the character of the Batman, and does such a good job with the origin story and setting up that relationship with Rachel, Katie Holmes here. Yeah, it's fantastic, man.
Hell yeah. So Chris, what is your number 2?
Not to mention Cillian Murphy, dude, as the fucking villain of the Scarecrow. Underrated actor in general. He's fucking fantastic.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I really hope that Oppenheimer really hits his trajectory the way that it should have been ages ago, because he kills it every time.
No pun intended.
Oh my god, here we go. I'm jumping out of a fucking plane. Actually, number 2. We're on number 2 now?
Yeah, we're at Dos.
Yeah, Dos. Actually, man, surprisingly enough, as much as Brad's been talking about it all night, man, number 2 for me is The Batman 2022. I love the hell out of it. I think that it was such a new take on it, and it really explored a lot of elements of Batman that they really hadn't gone down, that road before. I was surprised. Now, to be fair, when I went in to see it, I didn't think that it was going to be horrible or anything like that. A lot of people were complaining about Robert Pattinson and things like that. For what it's worth, I thought that it was going to be good. But I didn't think that it was going to be great. I didn't expect to be blown away by it, and so I thought, it was fantastic. You know what I mean? I think every actor in there killed it. The performances, the cinematography, the score, it all worked so well. So number 2, The Batman for me.
Hell yeah, man. I don't blame you, man. Again, The Batman could be my number 2 further down the road, or even 2 minutes from now. Like, Who are you? Hey, I'm Austin for 3 minutes from now. Now I'm just messing. But my number two
The Batman.
is Basil. You are hands. Now I'm just kidding. Number 2 is Batman Begins, and Brad pretty much just kind of like hit it a little bit, and this is why it's my number 2. It's that origin story, and it's not really just an origin story for Batman. And real honestly, for me, it's kind of almost an origin story for Christopher Nolan, and this is where it got just kind of like kickstart his career in the cinema world as well. But just want to throw that out there. But man, I agree with Brad. This is the best origin story of all time for any comic book movie, in my opinion. It's just so damn interesting just seeing where it all begins. And we never really got a good origin story of Batman. We just got a little bit here and there from Batman 1989. We got a little bit here and there from The Batman, a little more detailed, but we didn't get like a full movie dedicated to that origin story. And this movie just nails it right out the damn park. Cillian Murphy, great as Scarecrow. This has my Rachel Dawes and Katie Holmes. She's amazing. Michael Caine as Alfred, best Alfred out there, not even close. So no one can really even replicate what he did. And of course, the inclusion of Lucius Fox with Morgan Freeman, great performance. And of course, Liam Neeson, great performance as Ra's al Ghul. Everything is just so damn amazing. This is easily a golden reel for me. Number 2, Batman Begins.
Yes.
And also, let's not forget about give some love to Gary Oldman, who I thought was a great James Gordon in there.
Yeah, he was. He was
absolutely.
Yeah, and it was cool that whole the whole Nolan trilogy followed his sort of ascension through the police ranks there as well.
It did. It did a really good job with that. Okay, so my number 2. God dang, man, this is so hard. And again, I'm still thinking like Dark Knight's on my mind. Like, should it be up here? I just don't know. This is so fucking hard for me. Batman's for context, Batman's my favorite superhero. Nolan's one of my favorite fucking genres or directors. The dark, gritty fucking detective stories, one of my favorite fucking genres. True Detective and Seven are two of my favorite things on this fucking planet. But here we are, nonetheless, with all the shit meshed together. God dang. Okay, so number 2 for me is Dark Knight Rises. Let's just cut it to the chase here.
I'm surprised with.
I'm gonna have Dark Knight Rises here. I know a lot of people have this as worse than the trilogy for Nolan, but for me, for whatever reason, this movie is the longest of the trilogy. Like from a time standpoint, from a runtime standpoint. But for me, it goes by the fastest. I think Bane is severely underrated. Because he's overshadowed by the Joker, which is fair. The Joker, Heath Ledger, is one of the best performances of all time. And from a performance standpoint, yeah, he's got Tom Hardy beat here. But I mean, dude, that is the most intimidating fucking villain of this trilogy, I think, in Bane. You legitimately don't know if this is somebody that Batman can beat or not. Because of the way he's talked up by Alfred early in the movie in the Batcave. He's like, this is not a guy you can beat. You're old. This guy's fucking, he is the League of Shadows. You're not going to beat him. B, that fucking sewer freaking fight scene they have down there with the water dripping down, Bane beating this guy's ass to a pulp, aka like he's beating Batman down to, he's completely broken the man, literally, breaks his back down in there. And the cinematographer.
Just to throw it out, man, and both the actors in that scene down there do such a great job. Like Christian Bale basically throwing himself up against a brick wall there, like at the through that whole scene right there when he comes up and starts trying to beat him. It's just brilliant. It's just amazing, dude. The way they shot that, and I mean, to be fair, I mean, in real life, Christian Bale is like 3 or 4 inches taller than Tom Hardy, and for them to be able to shoot that the way they did, I mean.
They made it work, and it's brilliant. The cinematography alone is brilliant down here. Alone, just the way that Batman, the door shuts. Fucking not Halle Berry, but Catwoman. Anne Hathaway is on the other side of the door there, and Batman's like, "Damn, I fucked up." He turns around, Bane's standing there. Let's not stand on ceremony, Mr. Wade.
And he's just holding it. He's just holding his vest like this.
Yeah, dude. Like he's relaxed. He's relaxed. He's relaxed.
And no score whatsoever.
That's what I'm getting to. Yeah, when they start duking it out, no music plays. It's just Bruce yelling and screaming and giving everything he's got in this just to get his ass beat. And then he gets broken and he gets put in this pit. And he comes back later in the movie with this fucking epic score when he climbs out of the pit. and like he just works himself. I get it. There's fucking plot holes all over this thing. As far I get it, I understand it. It doesn't bother me at all. To see this redemption story, I'm a sucker for redemption stories. I love them. And to see it from my favorite character of all time, Batman, to happen here on screen for me, I absolutely love it. Bane is quite terrifying. Visually, the movie, when you have the opening of this movie, one plane taking over the other plane, it's one of the best fucking scenes of all time, cinematographically speaking. And then you got the football field exploding. Anne Hathaway steals the show here as Catwoman as well. I think she's one of the best parts of this movie. And then don't forget about Joseph Gordon-Levitt coming in here as Robin, that just fucking adding so much more to this movie.
Marion Cotillard as well. She fucking killed it as Talia.
Yes. Yes. And I don't mind the twist at the end. I think it makes sense going back to the roots of the original, like the first movie, the trilogy. The score by Hans is on point here, and I also just freaking love the really everything about it. Everything about it is fantastic.
How about the like practical effect of them ramping a fucking Oshkosh from one level of a freeway down to the next one?
Yeah, everything about the practical effects about this trilogy is the best thing that you could ask for at this point. The whole trilogy just features.
And I'll talk about it in a minute.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and guess what your number one's gonna be. So Chris, what is your number one?
Number one for me is The Dark Knight, man. I mean, I think that it's so revolutionary for a comic book movie and what a superhero movie can be. It kind of transcends a lot of tropes about that people thought about, because even you're looking at, the 89 Batman Returns, the shitty Joel Schumacher films, and then Nolan comes out with, Batman Begins, which is great in its own right. It's more grounded, it's more realistic take on Batman. And then he takes that grounded, realistic take and actually creates a one of a kind actual crime movie that's also based in this world. There's nothing quite like it, and in my opinion, it literally transcends every level that the superhero movie could be. It's so well made, the direction, the acting. I mean, Heath Ledger in that role. I remember the backlash that people were like, "Oh my God, I can't believe Heath Ledger's been cast, this, that, and the other." And I mean, it's easy to look back at it now and, he won the Oscar, blah, blah, posthumously, mind you, but he won the Oscar, blah, blah. But it's still, man, it's still one of the great performances from him. And honestly, I think Christian Bale is top notch in this one. I think this is his best performance as Batman. It's Nolan at his best, and it's just it's so one of a kind to me, in my opinion. I can't put anything above it, especially not for Batman. Honestly, if we were ranking superhero movies, it would probably be number one there as well.
I concur with that.
Very good possibility.
And honestly, for Nolan, he probably has a couple other ones. I would probably put Interstellar above this one, surprisingly. But I think this is one of his finest moments, and I think that this was really. I mean, we have to consider when this came out. If memory serves, I think that in the Marvel universe, only Iron Man had come out before this one came out. So this was really, so in another way, this really showed the world what a superhero movie could achieve. And I think Marvel took notice of that and was like, whoa, maybe we could really turn this into a cinematic universe. So I think it did so much for comic book movies, it did so much for Batman. I can't put anything above it, man.
Yeah, dude, I do not blame you. You took my secret, my secret ace in the hole right there, and bring out the Iron Man. Just because those two movies, Iron Man and The Dark Knight, really changed pretty much the whole what we call cinematic world of comic book movies, making an impact in the box office. Because if you look at the numbers now, holy crap, they're making bukus of money, and it's all really thanks to Iron Man and The Dark Knight. But I'll just go ahead and say my number one is The Dark Knight. Pretty much for that reason, it is the one of the absolute best superhero movies of all time, and rightfully so, man. Everything is just right on point. I don't have one negative, or I honestly really don't even have a mix aspect to this movie. I think everything is absolutely perfect, and the main reason why I'm giving this number one is Heath Ledger as the Joker. If I imagine what the Joker would look like in real life, what Heath Ledger did would have been exactly I imagined the Joker to be in real life. And Brad said it too, a Bane being one of the most like intimidating like villains in the Christopher Nolan trilogy. Yeah, I agree with that from a physical standpoint, like just his presence. But when we're talking about the Joker, his freaking mind is, to me, scares me a lot more than Bane, because Joker, he has no plan, he has no motive, he just do things.
He is the embodiment of chaos.
Exactly, and you don't know what's going to happen, and you can just see where it takes a toll on Batman, like really heavily too. He's even ready to give up Batman, but I think one of the most underrated performances is Two-Face and Harvey Dent. I think he absolutely nails it out of the park. Does such a great job. And then, of course, Michael Caine, freaking stand out as well of giving Bruce lessons about the Joker, like the type of character he is, and building him up more. And like Brad's talking about the airplane scene at the beginning of The Dark Knight Rises, let's talk about freaking The Dark Knight and that bank heist to open up the movie to introduce the Joker. Holy crap! And of course, one of the greatest scenes in comic book history is that interrogation scene between Batman and Joker. Absolutely classic. This movie is just classic. Hans Zimmer, you name it, everything's an A plus. The Dark Knight is my number one.
And two, just to add to that just a little bit, the scene there where they're the interrogation scene there was supposed to be just a couple takes long or whatever, but Heath Ledger felt like he wasn't getting it right, so he literally paid. I don't know if he paid, but he asked the cast and crew to stay there. And they ended up filming that, like, I can't even remember exactly how many times, but they stayed there like well into the night because he felt like they weren't getting it right. So he wanted to keep doing it until it felt right to him.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone stayed there until they got that scene right.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
Which is pretty cool. And then the other thing I wanted to just add real quick, we were talking about the airplane scene and all that. The fucking truck. That was a practical effect. The truck flipping over in the middle of Chicago there. Yeah. The way they did that, they only had like really like one night they could do that in one take, and it turned out fucking phenomenal. There's still to this day. I even remember like in the trailer, when it flips up, I was like, what the, how'd they do that? And it was 100% practical. So that was. Kudos to Nolan for finding somebody that could do that, and Chicago for letting him do that in the middle of a city street. You know what I mean? And that whole scene there just turned out amazing. And
objectively speaking, I can't deny Dark Knight is the best film of the bunch. Like just from an objective standpoint, from a filmmaking standpoint, such a fucking good job. And again, like you asked me tomorrow, this could be my number one as well. But today, it's the fucking Batman from 2022, man. It's because ever since I played the Arkham trilogy games, like the Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight, man, I've been waiting. I've been waiting and I've been begging for a Batman movie to take me to this dark world of the Batman being a detective. I never thought a studio would have the balls to do it to this extent, but here we are in 2022.
Especially WB.
Yes, especially. But here we are in 2022 with a fucking dark ass, gritty Gotham, man. Like just fucking, everybody's compared to the Seven. It's totally spot on. It's a very good comparison to Seven, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. So it's a perfect combo for me for the Batman to be here in this world. It's something I never thought I would see Batman going into such a dark territory. we get this version of the Batman that is he's so torn. Like the movie, and again, for me, what I really like about it is the fact that this movie focuses on Batman. Bruce is a freaking afterburn thought. Like he's not even really a thing in this movie. Maybe a couple scenes we see him in. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but a couple scenes we see him in the movie. And to me, I just think that's what I've been waiting on. The arc we get from Batman is actually for the character of Batman. It's awesome, but you know the what he figures out about himself by the end of the movie is brilliant in my mind. The world of Gotham in this movie is such a perfect blend between comic world and grounded. I don't think you could top it. I don't think you could ever top this. When I thought that that Christopher Nolan brought us a grounded approach to the character that would never be more grounded, we get this freaking story from Matt Reeves that just you get a serial killer from the Riddler that actually feels like a legitimate like fucking psychopath, like that you don't know what he's going to do next kind of deal, like fucking John Doe from Seven, but like a slasher more so. Like you get this look for him that is absolutely terrifying. His mannerisms, everything he every time he's on screen, you're captivated by it. You're scared about what he's going to do. Like the way he talks, everything is just, it's terrifying. It's real. The fucking atmosphere with the rain. Every time you see the Batman out in the world, it's fucking, it's pouring down rain like in Seven. And maybe it's too much like Seven. I don't know, but I don't care. It's just, it's a perfect blend.
To be fair, not to cut you off, but I thought it was also very reminiscent of Zodiac. I mean, the Riddler is very much, it's very much, he's centered around the Zodiac. I felt like with the ciphers and communication with the media and things like that. I mean, there's no way that wasn't an influence.
Yeah, and I even say The Crow is another good influence on this movie as well.
It is, yes. You have a Bruce Wayne that is quite frankly so lost in his own Batman character that he just doesn't know which direction he wants to go. When you see Bruce on screen, like he's so torn, like he's just like he does not know how to balance the act of Batman and Bruce at this point in his career, just a couple years in. And I think that's absolutely brilliant. You get a more brutal Batman than we've ever seen. This is so. I'm not necessarily going to say this is the best Batman yet. I don't know that for sure, but I can say without a certainty this is the most intimidating Batman that we've ever seen. Criminals are scared. They're terrified of him. There's a line early in the movie where he says that he's the criminals, and this isn't a spoiler as much as it is just something to get you pumped. But he says they think I'm hiding in the shadows, waiting to strike, but I am the shadows, and that's true. Anytime the fucking bad guys see a fucking shadow, they're thinking the Batman's around the corner. They're thinking he's coming, and that to me just gets me fucking jacked. All this stuff with him going out to these crime scenes, fucking just investigating the shit out of them. The relationship with Gordon here is absolutely amazing. They truly are partners. We get a great performance from fucking Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman here. It's absolutely amazing. Great chemistry, I think. And I just don't think this is a movie that I never thought would exist, but it does. And it's a perfect blend. It's a perfect for the Batman character. And for me, it's the best Batman film to date. And I don't think it can be topped. I really don't, as far as just looking at the character of Batman as a whole. And the most important thing for me, all these movies we talked about, I think Batman was overshadowed by the villain. Joker definitely, Bane overshadowed Batman. In this movie, the Batman 2022, the Batman is the most electrifying thing about the movie. It's the most freaking interesting thing about the movie. He's still a mystery by the end of it. He's got arcs going on, and he's not like the Riddler. As good as the Riddler was, and as good as the Penguin was by Colin Farrell, the Batman is the show is the star here in this show, and I just can't wait to see what else happens.
And I wanted to add a little bit to that. I want to say that I loved, for what it's worth, I loved every second of it as well. John Turturro, for me, was a bit of a surprise there. He plays it straight the entire time, and he fucking kills it. Colin Farrell, there were definitely people who were going to leave the theater and be like, "Oh, where was Colin Farrell at in that?" You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, because he's so unrecognizable. Yeah, you would never fucking know it's him. It's so amazing. So many great performances in that, and yeah, I love the hell out of every second of that.
Yeah, and I plan on giving it a second watch soon at the theater. And you might
Yeah,
never know, with that second viewing, it could be my new number one. Because like I probably missed a couple of details from the first one, and just to get that new next rewatch, you might never know, man. It could be different.
I can't. I'm gonna go see it again on Tuesday. I'm super excited about it. The world, the atmosphere, the mood, everything about it, about this Gotham is just it's unparalleled. I just feel it feels so grimy and real and grounded, but it's just like, man, you got this story of a Batman character that's still kind of learning the ropes and learning to be his best self. It's genius. And I thought fucking Andy Serkis again was fantastic, and as Alfred as well. And just yeah, I mean, I just I don't want to spoil it for anybody, so I'm not going to say any more. But it's brilliant.
Hell yeah. And this ranking, I know is difficult. Again, it could change when the next Batman movie comes out, but that is pretty much where we stand right now. And I just want to ask you guys, where do you all put your Batman movies in your all's rankings? We would love to absolutely hear it and see what your all's list looks like and what even your number one Batman looks like. Let us know in that comment section down below, and let's get that discussion rolling.
And if you don't have Sonic Good Reels, you can just find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Letterboxd, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Those links are down below for you to find.
Absolutely, they are. And be sure to like this video, share, and subscribe. And of course, ring that bell, ding, 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 so you all know what the next set of videos are up and ready. And the Good Reel Sentinel, the Good Reel Signal is up. We need to go to it, and we'll see you guys later.